Behavior in this case is disgusting.
Okay, this is 240712, the City of Taylor versus Jason Sullivan.
Okay, we got some good clips. They're absolutely maddening. I have to thank Lakificent Slayer and Alyssa, usual suspects, helping me out. Thanks a lot. We have some fun stuff. Let's do it.
Good morning, Your Honor. Matthew Sick for the people. Morning, Your Honor. Jeffrey Fanto for Mr. Sullivan. I advised the court that, and the court knows that we had had what we thought was an agreement. Mr. Sullivan has indicated he no longer wishes me to represent him. And that includes any of the attorney group out of this court.
So is he retaining an attorney?
I don't know, Judge. He suggested that he may, but in the interim, I would at least have asked the court to appoint someone out of, or ask regional MIDC to appoint someone to represent him. We also have, the matter was scheduled for tomorrow, but understandably, based on what our agreement was, what we thought it might be, he has an availability problem tomorrow. It's my understanding a complaint in this matter may have one as well. And just ask it be moved to March 21st. And then if he chooses to retain an attorney, then that attorney can discuss the matter with Mr. Zick.
So Mr. Gazicki, there's been a material breakdown of your relationship? Or I'm sorry, Mr. Fanto?
There's been a significant breakdown, yes, Your Honor.
All right, but he's never even met Mr. Gazicki, right?
He's concerned about the association with our group with the court, Judge.
All right, Mr. Sullivan, what's your problem with Mr. Gazicki, an attorney you've never even met?
Well, with this group alone, I've came to 2 plea deals. Both plea deals have been denied. This has been a waste of almost 8 months of my time, and I've not even been given a discovery package or any evidence of this crime I committed.
So what does Mr. Gazicki have to do with any of that? I've not heard a single word about him.
I have no care for a company that doesn't care to take care of their clients.
Okay, well, Mr. Fanto and Mr. Gazicki aren't even at the same firm. They don't work for the city. They're
Also, beggars can't be choosers, as she aptly points out later on.
in 2 separate firms, and they're independent counsel. They're not paid by the court even. They're paid by the Michigan Indigent Defense Council. They're completely independent from the court and the city.
I just made it clear to Mr. Fanto I wanted nothing to do with him or the company he associates with.
All right, well, that's too bad for you, because here's the thing, Mr. Sullivan, you don't get to pick your attorney. When if you want to go hire one, get who you want. And if you don't want to work with Mr. Fanto, that's fine. But this idea that an indigent defendant gets to just go through lawyers until he finds the one he wants and to disregard indigent defense counsel because he has some feeling without even having an interaction with that attorney it's insane, sir. And I'm not going to just keep appointing you attorneys because you don't like the outcome or you don't like the advice the attorneys give you. I don't know what to tell you about that.
It's not that I don't like anything. It's the fact that for 8 months now, I've yet to receive my discovery package. I've seen no evidence of it.
Have you asked your attorney board? Have you had conversations? I mean, what does that have to do with, have you had conversations about that?
So the lawyer's job is to represent me, but it's my job to ask him how to represent me. That's exactly why there's a failure in communication.
If you want a physical copy of your discovery, yeah.
So
Yes, big dummy. The attorney is not going to generally hand over your file to you because if you're represented, you don't need to know about it. Honestly, you need your file when you're going to another attorney, which was where we're at now, not before. Other than that, just let the attorney do the thinking and the talking.
As a defendant,
did you go to law
ask
school
for the evidence against me? If there's any evidence, that should be at a show cause hearing. I never even got a show cause hearing.
What? Okay, you clearly did not go to law school. It's never been more evident to me, Mr. Sullivan, that you literally have no idea what you're even talking about. Listen, you know what, Mr. Fanto? You can meet with Mr. Gazicki, and you can see if you want him to represent you, or you can retain your own lawyer.
That is fine with me. I'm not trying to sit here and argue with you. I know you got better stuff to do.
Well, you are. Mr. Sullivan, if you want to come and get a copy of your discovery or look at it, you can always come to court in person.
I live in Flint. I don't have the option to do that. I've already moved 80 miles away from where this situation happened.
Well,
I'm trying to move on with my life.
You know, when you come for trial.
Okay, so you don't have any money. You live away from the courthouse, and the attorney's supposed to read your mind. Good luck with that.
Trial, you will have to come in person.
That's perfectly fine as long as I have the time to set that up.
All right, I'll see you March 21st at 8. 1 second. They're resolved. They're resolving them. We'll see you March 21st at 8:30 a.m. for your jury trial.
How am I going to go to trial if I've not seen any evidence and I'm not prepared for trial? This is exactly why I'm firing my lawyer.
Mr. Sullivan, that's not why you're fighting with your lawyer. You're fighting with your lawyer because the plea was revoked. There was a plea offer and it was pulled back, and that's why you're fighting with your lawyer. But if you want to come and speak, you want to speak with someone, you want to get a copy of the discovery, you're entitled to that.
We'll make another copy available, Your Honor.
Wait, Mr. Sullivan, can I give Mr. Guzicki your phone number?
Yes.
All right, I would do that.
And you can have a copy of the discovery, but I mean, that's either way, you're coming to trial on March 21st, 2025. And
Without an attorney, that discovery won't do him a damn bit of good.
8:30 a.m. We'll see you on your trial date. Mr. Guzicki, you can apprise the court of your status with Mr. Sullivan.
Thank you,
Mr.
Your Honor.
Zick present.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
You're all set, Mr. Sullivan. Don't wait, we got to put more on the record.
Don't say a word. Oh, and go ahead and put yourself on mute now.
Oh, this is Alyssa's fault too. This is delicious. This is delicious. This guy tries to BS Judge Dad, and it's it's excruciating. It's awkward, but it's fun.
All right, people against Gregory Lawrence de La Santa, 124-836-2928. Your name? Unmute, sir, and state your name, please.
Gregory Della Santa.
You're charged with failure to pay $357. That is the charge. If you plead guilty, if you're found guilty, you could be incarcerated for, in this case, it looks like, well, this is not a probation case, but I would still honor it for 5 days. Do you understand that?
Yes, may I add something?
Not yet. You're presumed innocent. They have to prove you guilty by a preponderance of the evidence. You have the right to a hearing, right to question their witnesses, right to bring in your own, right to use the subpoena powers of the court to bring in those witnesses. If you plead guilty, you'll be giving up all those rights, and there will not be a hearing or a trial. Do you understand that?
Yes.
You have the right to a lawyer. If you want one, we'll give you one. Do you want a lawyer?
No.
To the charge you failed to pay is set forth in the show cause, $357. How do you plead? Guilty or not guilty, sir?
Guilty.
Did you fail to pay? Are you listening to my questions, or
No, I
can you
am.
not hear me?
I am listening. I am listening.
This guy is such a passive aggressive whiner. It's a perfect clash of personalities.
Did you pay the $350? Did you fail to pay the $357 that's owed?
Yes, because of unemployment.
Well, did you come and talk to the judge? She told you to pay $100 a month starting November 1. This is February. It doesn't look like you paid a nickel. Did you come in and seek permission? Say, hey, Judge, I don't have the money. I got laid off. I'm on unemployment. I can't eat. I can't feed my family. I can't heat my house. Will you give me an extension? When did you come in and talk to her about that?
Your Honor, I did come to the court and I paid money and they didn't offer me a suggestion to make a court date.
Well, it's not a big formal proceeding. You just call the court or come in on or before your due date. When did he make a payment, Lisa? I don't see one.
Oh, they didn't offer me something. They're not. They don't need to offer you anything. You're under the obligation to pay. And he sits there and he's got his little Eeyore voice. Oh, come on.
Reflected on, he made $10 in December 27th. Is that right?
Yeah, there's also a note in there that he was advised of open court hours for a new payment arrangement.
So you can't just ignore courts.
I
I don't
also,
get this. This part of my job, I do not understand. You
I
understand?
wasn't even guilty of being stopped to pull over. He didn't see my brake light. I stopped with my clutch on my motorcycle, and I got a ticket for not stopping. I was already.
Dude, you already lost. They took a judgment. Now you've pled guilty for not paying. That ship has sailed. Go find some money.
Stopped.
Hang on. This wasn't my case, but I know Judge Hessen, and I know she wouldn't have taken a plea of guilt or written this down if you didn't plead guilty. They gave you a 0-point violation, allowing an unlicensed driver to drive. The 2-point suspend charge was dismissed. I'm not going to go back and relitigate that. That's over. It's like the Lions trying to go back and say, hey, we want to play that game against Washington over.
That's fine. I'm not going to compare this courtroom to a sport game. Thank you. I'll pay my dues. Okay.
I just did, but
What a jackass. Nobody asked if you were doing that. The judge made a simple analogy. I loved her. He said, well, I just did. Like there's something wrong with that?
don't start telling me about something that happened during the plea arrangement that you don't agree with now. And don't start getting smart with me. Do you have this to pay or not?
I'm not smart. I am smart.
Just
and I'm
tell
not
me
getting
if you
smart.
have this to pay. Just
I'm not a smart man, Jenny. Oh, don't get smart with me is straight out of like 1954. Coming from Judge Dad is the best.
tell me if you have this to pay.
I don't have
Just tell
money.
me if you,
I'm trying to go back to work, and I'll give money from my unemployment, but I can't pay $100 a month, Your Honor.
you needed to come and talk to her.
Okay.
That's what you needed to do. In fact, the judicial clerk just told me that you were made aware of the open hours. You cannot ignore this.
Open hours. I
When
believe they
you can
told.
come and see the judge. We're not, you wouldn't walk into a doctor's office at 5 at night and say, hey, I want to be treated without
you
an
lower your voice?
appointment. You
Can
can
you lower
come,
your
listen to
voice?
me. Listen, no.
You're yelling.
Listen to me. Hey, listen.
Trying to listen.
That's because you're
I also like that. Just shh.
accepting no responsibility. And now you
do
want
it.
to go back and relitigate the case. And I'm not going to go back and relitigate the case. It's over. You pled guilty. She took your plea. She sentenced you. It's over. Now, if you
Oh, this gets worse because Judge Dad, who is nice, but he just slowly starts grinding him harder and harder until he's just dust by the end of this thing.
need time to pay, you can give me a reasonable amount that you can afford to pay. But you can't ignore courts and then come in and try to relitigate the case 4 months later.
I didn't
How much
mean
can
it.
you afford to pay weekly or bi-weekly or monthly? And so far, we're not doing good because you only paid $10 in 4 months.
I don't have this receipts with me, but I paid after Christmas or before and paid in January. I can afford approximately $25 a month on the unemployment I'm getting.
Where were you working at, sir?
I was working for Roush Industries.
Did you got laid off?
Yes.
Lisa, I don't see anything else on this file other than the fact that he paid $10 on December 27th. Were there other payments made?
No, I only see one payment on December 20th.
I
So
came down and paid money in 2025.
Okay. On this case,
Yes, sir.
do you have the receipt?
Yes, I do.
Well, why don't you put it up to the camera? Because you know what? I've been here a long time. I've never had one person. Are you positive about that? Or the JIS doesn't reflect the payment made in January, Lisa?
I only see one in December, Judge, December 27th. I'm looking to see if he
Right.
has other cases maybe he paid on.
Nope. I came down there.
Okay, so listen, we don't
I'm
need to.
Mhm.
I'm going to be patient. I'm going to wait,
looking.
but I'm going to tell you this. I've been told this before, and in 30 years and 1.5 months, I've not had anybody tell me that they have a receipt and provide the receipt that indicates a payment was made when our records reflect no payment made.
Translation. I don't believe you, Jack Wagon.
Not one. So you'll be the first one. You'll be the first one. So tell me what day you paid it. You have your receipts, you said there, right? Pull it up and tell me what date that was.
I'm looking in my folder for this.
I can't wait to hear.
Yeah.
He's filled with excitement. Waiting for
Tell
this
you
first
what,
payment.
you take your time. I don't want to rush you.
I want to, I looked in my folder.
Hang on. You take all the time you need to look because I don't want you to make any mistakes. Okay? I want to make sure that today's going to be the day of my career when somebody's going to walk in here with a receipt when they told me they paid something and our records reflect otherwise. And if you can produce that receipt, barring something that's terrible, I'm going to waive the rest of the fines and costs for you, sir. That's how confident I am. Now, I could be wrong. There's a first for anything, right? When nobody was on the moon till the early 60s. So you keep looking, take your time. I don't want you to make any mistakes. Did you find that, sir?
I have been looking and
I'll tell you what. Why don't you find it and you can come talk to Judge Hessen this afternoon. How's that? Gregory
Okay.
Lawrence, Dallas, Santa, 24W8362928. Unless you find it now, I told you I'd waive the fines. She's not bound by that. So you find that now and I'll waive the fines. You won't pay anything, even if that's for $5. I will waive the balance. You got it. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to let you sit there and take a look at this. I want to be completely fair and make sure that you only pay 13 cents on the $100 owed. And I'm going to let you find that, and then everybody will be happy. We can close the case and you won't have to pay fines. I'll tell you what, I'll be back here at 10:45. Thank you.
okay, thank you.
Go back on record. Mr. Dallas Santa, you can
We're all waiting with bated breath to see if he has the receipt.
step up to the people against Gregory Lawrence Dallas Santa, 24W8362928.
Good morning. I'm here, Your Honor.
Your name?
Gregory Dallasano.
All right, where is it? You got it? I want to waive all these fines for you.
I really understand your position, but I can't believe that would actually be true, even though I do not have a receipt.
Listen,
I did not pay, and I'm sorry. I thought I did. I went there with money.
Oh, what a freaking whiner. If for some reason they did make a mistake down there and didn't credit it, he said it. I'm telling you right now, McNally would waive the fines. He's not making that up. He doesn't believe him. But if the guy did produce a receipt, he'd say, all right, we'll waive the fines. I said it.
no, that's what we do here because we're honest about things here. And if you had came up with I just told the staff down the hall, he comes out with a receipt that says he paid $5 after January 1. I'd waive all the fines. That's just the way we are here. We don't make mistakes like that.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying? This is a court building. It's a courthouse. So you are either guessing or lying, and I don't appreciate it.
Well, I did come there with money and my money wasn't given.
I don't want to argue with you. I'd give up my house for a cup of coffee if you could have come up with that. So please don't come in here and tell me you paid in January when we know that you haven't paid in January, because that would be what we call a lie.
I didn't mean it that
horrible
way.
word. Hang on. You insisted you paid in January. You've been painful to deal with this whole time. I'm going to cut this short. I'm not going to let you pay just $25 a month. We're not a bank here. You've owed this money for 4 months. You didn't come in and talk to Judge Hessen. You didn't come in and say, hey, can I have an extension? None of that went on. So you're going to have to figure out a way. I don't know where you're going to work or when Roush is going to call you back, if they're going to call you back. But I mean, we're not a bank. You don't get 16 months to pay $295 in fines and costs. You paid $10 and now you owe $357 after the $10 payment because of default and warrant fees and late fees and everything else. And I'm not going to let you pay $25 a month. That would take you what? 12. That would take you 14 months to pay this, over 14 months.
That's less than 16. Can I make a statement?
Hang on. What do you mean it's less than 16? Why did I say 16? I might have said 16. Is that what you want to do, is criticize me? I'll deal with my math skills like against you or anybody else, but don't.
I'm not criticizing you.
I don't. Yeah, you're a wise guy. You're one of those guys. You're one of those guys that thinks you can talk your way out of things. I've seen it before. I see it every day, actually. So you're not alone. I don't want you to think. In fact, I don't even want to talk about this anymore.
Yes,
you're going to have to come up with a way to pay more than $25 a month. So I'll kind of work with you and let you deal with I'll let you kind of set up your own plan, but it's not going to be $25 a month. We're not a bank. So what are you going to do?
Well, I'm barely making it. I know I'll be back to work. I don't know when. I wasn't working with Roush at this time last year. I came back around Easter. So all I'm asking is you accept less than 50 so I have something to live on. That's all I'm asking. And
all I can tell you is October 23rd, you must have told Judge Hessen that you could pay $100 a month. She started it 8 days later. So, but you know what? Let's forego that. I'm going to let you pay $50 per week, and I'm going to start this on April the 25th, and you'll be back to work by then. And if you're not back to work by then, you need to come into the courthouse at 8:30 in the morning and speak to me about an extension. Do you understand?
yes, Your Honor.
Okay. I wish you well. Good luck. Have a good day. Thank you.
You too.
Are we ready on Kohler?
Oh, no. It's about to get weird.
That's too sure. So, the words about this is what happens. So, what I was just like tracking my thoughts, like, I know what I'm say. What's that happening? Excuse me, what is that happening? You trash balance and everyone from you possible. You, all of you. Yeah, I fucking what you can go on this. Do with it. Doesn't mean you can control me. That will thing, what a fucking joke.
Unmute that. Thanks.
I, like everybody else, in a silent conspiracy to pretend that this isn't happening.
All right, I reviewed the police report of Officer Gerkman, who indicates that on the 23rd of May, reported to Mr. Branham. Want to unmute?
Yes, sir. Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, I finally have the plea form. I have statement of defendant on plea of guilty to a charge of criminal trespass, second degree. And Ms. Langley signed that form for you. You gave her your authority to do so.
Yes, Your Honor.
You went over that form with Ms. Langley.
Yes, Your Honor.
Any questions for me about the form?
No, Your Honor.
You understand by pleading guilty to that charge, you give up the constitutional rights set forth in paragraph 5 of the plea form.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Langley, you discussing potential immigration consequences.
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Branham, you understand the sentence recommendation?
Somewhat.
I need to understand it first. So I'm looking at a sentence that's 60 days in jail, credit for 24, so there would be 36 days left to serve. Is that the intent of the parties?
That's the city's recommendation. We'd like to be heard.
Okay, but that's the city's recommendation?
Yes.
Your Honor.
Okay, so Mr. Branham, you understand the city is asking for 60 days in custody, give you credit for the 24 that you have served up to this point, so you would owe 36 more days if I impose this based on the city's recommendation. You understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. And you understand they also want conditions that you not have contact with Fred Meyer, not consume alcohol, not enter a bar or tavern. You understand all of that?
Yes, Your Honor.
And would there be any impact on the backup matters? Mr. McClellan?
The city's position is going to be 60 days on this case, and that takes into account all the backup matters, but I'm asking all the time to be imposed on this cause number.
Okay, so you would just note violations on the backup matters and take no action on those?
Correct.
Okay, thank you. And your statement here on the plea form indicates on the 26th of January, you were in the parking lot of the Fred Meyer store in the city of Lacey. You were aware you'd been told you could not be at that store and that the trespass order that you had received was still in effect on that date. Are those facts accurate, Mr. Brenham?
Somewhat, Your Honor.
Okay, I'm going to make that a yes or no question. Are those facts accurate?
There's an odd thing about that Fred Meyer, if you're familiar, is about the storefronts that are adjacent.
Yeah, if you're going to explain to me what you believe is a defense for you not violating the order, then I can't accept the plea.
Okay.
So you're agreeing you were on property you did not have the right to be on, is that correct?
I suppose.
Okay. Yeah, that's a yes or no question.
Yes.
Thank you. You're going to have to print up the plea form. I'll find sufficient factual basis for defendant's plea. Find the plea is made knowingly, voluntarily, with full understanding of the consequence. Accordingly, I will accept defendant's plea and or find him guilty based on that plea. Ms. Langley wished to be heard on sentencing.
Yes, Your Honor. My client is asking that the court consider just imposing time served. His problems have come from substance use. He acknowledges that, and he's kind of willing to get into some treatment because I think he's tired of getting arrested and winding up sitting in jail. He wasn't in the building; he was outside. And given all of that, I just would ask the court to consider imposing time served on this. Thank you.
Thank you.
And then, if I could just briefly, just given that us not agree to support the city's position.
Go ahead.
Just as I noted that 60 days contemplates that he's on probation on a number of cases that include not to be a Fred Meyer. There involve prior thefts of alcohol from Fred Meyer. His other probation cases, stealing alcohol from Rite Aid. And the allegations in here, I know it's trespass second degree. He was reported to be appearing under the influence, and he was yelling and screaming at customers there at Fred Meyer. So obviously he's been in custody for a little while now.
I would have lied, but whatever. Thank you.
So 60 days is the request with the treatment requirement, no alcohol, those other conditions.
That's my crisis. My life's in crisis. Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Anything else, Mr. Branham?
I'll say have a good fortune and go elsewhere.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand that.
I'm having a hard time being copacetic at the moment. Please excuse me, Your Honor.
Okay. And do you have anything else you want to say?
Me, Your Honor?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I would just like to add that, in all fairness, I am a very, say, for example, cordial individual, and I do carry on very much well-mannered in terms usually. So by all consideration, I would like you to know that for the same standard that I graduated from PLDC for Primary Leadership Development course in the United States Army with honors, for the same life standards that I can promise you that I will honor your any ideology that leads to sort of thing where you lessen the sentence and leave me with time served, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Yes.
Might be the thumbnail.
In this case, I will impose a sentence as recommended by the city on the basis that there are also 3 other cases where these have been issues for Mr. Branham in the past, and the sentence recommended by the city is meant to address those cases and the aggravation they provided to this charge. So 60 days in custody, credit for 24. That'll be 36 left to serve. And conditions of the balance of 30 days will be no criminal law violations, no alcohol, no marijuana. You're not to enter any bar or tavern, and no contact with Fred Meyer. I am not going to order the treatment. I just think that I hope that you decide you want to do that, Mr. Branham, because clearly that's warranted, but I'm not going to make that part of the court order because I frankly think that's just going to set you up for having to come back to court constantly to explain to us what's going on with that. So I'm going to relieve you of that burden on this case anyway. All right. Good luck. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Violence.
And we'll note the violations on the other matters and take no action.
Don't worry, it gets worse.
And I think the last one that we have in custody, Sendell Moore, it was a refusal yesterday, and I don't know if there's an update for today. Maybe that's her.
Hi, what's your name?
Sendell Moore.
Thanks, Ms. Moore. We'll chat in just a minute, so sit tight there.
Wait.
Like we had a missed appearance at a confirmation hearing on the 27th of January. And that's what brings us here. Ms. Langley.
Thanks, Your Honor. I didn't get a chance to talk to her because of where she was housed. But I don't know if she needs to talk to me now, or what I'd really like to see is for her to be released and set back on my calendar.
Ms. Moore, do you want to explain why we didn't see you on, let me get the date again, the 26th of January?
It was really hard to think about all of it and just really hard to get in on here. So yeah.
Okay. And since you've come out of Western State, have you, do you go to VHR or do any other mental health counseling or treatment?
Yeah, I need to go to the hospital after I get out of there.
Okay, but so does that mean you haven't been doing that?
Haven't been doing what?
Going to treatment, going to VHR, taking medications?
I don't know. I said what I said.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd like to get released too, but unfortunately I don't drive. So
Yeah.
I need to see a DCR and then go to the hospital after I get released from here. Yep. Unless you say otherwise. I mean, I don't give.
You don't have to say that. I get what you mean.
I guess I'm having some concerns, Your Honor. I know
Yeah.
Mr. Swenson had concerns yesterday talking to her.
Yeah, I agree. And I see right now an active warrant out of Spokane, lots of warrant history. I see the concern about competency being raised again.
Mhm.
All right.
Yep.
I think releasing Ms. Moore with the hope that she would do an out of custody evaluation, I don't think is very realistic here, given the warrant history, the active warrant. So I'm going to hold Ms. Moore on $5,000 cash or bond, which was the initial warrant issued in January, and set a date for, I'll give you the date in just a moment here, and hopefully we get an in-custody evaluation and can proceed after that.
I think Ms. Langley and I can work on getting an order to the court.
Mhm.
You can send it to Ms. Ingersoll and have Your Honor review it perhaps tomorrow.
Yes, please. Yep. So assuming it will take them a week to get it done, the next court date would be the 3rd of April. So I'll put it back on that Monday afternoon at 1:30. All right. Thank you, Ms. Moore. We're going to have Western State do another evaluation. You suggested DCR. I think we'll do Western State first, and then we'll get you back before the court as soon as we can after that. If the evaluation comes in sooner, we'll get you on the calendar. Thank you. You're all done for today.
Thanks, John.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Hello?
Okay. I'm going to give you one more shot, Mr. McClellan. Are you done?
I do think that's the last of Lacey cases, yes.
All right. Ms. Langley, Mr. McClellan, thank you. Good patience today.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Heck, it's a double rainbow. Hey, Cal, look at that. It's a double rainbow.
Yeah, that was out there. She's actually pretty sweet. I mean, obviously she's got issues. She's got issues, but she's nice about it. She kind of reminds me of the stuff that I did earlier today. Yeah, you feel for them, and they don't seem to have it all together, but their baseline is not nasty. They're sort of friendly about it. They just, say some wacky stuff. Like the guy who tried to lie to Judge Dad was much less likable. And the guy thought it was a good idea to get into it with Judge Shackelford. Yes. I'd like Kirkland and Ellis. I'd like a team of 12 attorneys handling my case because I live in Flint. I don't like those attorneys' attitudes. I want a nice waiting room. I want champagne offered when I show up. You know, I'm charged with a crime here. I expect the luxury treatment. Meanwhile, both those attorneys are perfectly competent, I'm certain. Shackelford knows it, and she's like, just shut up, dummy. There you have it. There you have it. Thank you all for coming out. I just got a bunch of clips. What really happens, it's one of the good reasons to have this channel, is I just had back-to-back good soft sits today. And then I didn't want to stream over there anymore. But I still had these clips to unload. Because here's the situation. By the way, I'm aware of this. Lakefa Sinclair told me that I can't remember her name now. We called her D's Nuts because she left him in her girlfriend's fridge for a while. But I guess she was in front of Judge Simpson today, but I heard it wasn't very interesting. So we had that. But tomorrow morning, we've got the Karen who accuses everyone of being a swinger with her Karen attorney who tells everyone she's afraid or her client's afraid. I'm curious as to what the next argument. I don't know if it'll happen. But bright and early, I think we got the Karen swinger and her attorney in front of DeSanto. That should be good times. Yes, Brianna, all I heard about that is that Judge Simpson, I'm sure in an attempt to be nice, I didn't see it. I probably should just grab the clip. But Judge Simpson, in an attempt to be nice, asked Brianna about her dog. And because the dog was always in court. And then there was some tale of woe, and he's like, yeah, sorry I asked. Good luck. Run along. Yeah, I mean, like, I can see that whole thing going down. Judge Simpson's like, how do I say something nice? And then you just, as usual, no good deed goes unpunished. You know, she starts into the whatever. I'm a victim. The dog was taken from me. God knows what. I didn't see it, but I can fill it in my imagination. I have an idea of how that had to go. All right. Thank y'all for coming out. I appreciate it. I'll see y'all soon.